Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome to part 3 of the 300-gallon overhaul build series. Now, if you missed part 2 or even the introduction, I'll give you guys a quick rundown on everything that we have done up to this point. Now, in the previous video, we went ahead and caught Big Bertha, relocated her to the 125-gallon grow-out tub here in the fish room. By the way, she's doing pretty well in there. I'll give you guys an update in a few days. Next thing we did was we removed the eel and relocated him to a new home. Again, he's doing pretty well. After that, took 2 of the 4 rock structures out of the 300 and attempted to remove as much coral as we possibly could. Unfortunately, I did break one of those rock structures during the process, so that kind of left me with just the one, in which I put outside for 24 hours, and that's where we're going to pick up here on this video. So what I'm going to show you guys is basically the cleaning process of the rock, getting it ready to put back into the 300-gallon. I'm also going to go ahead and clean the power heads while I'm doing it, since I do have the power washer out here. Now, one thing that I have realized over years of cleaning power heads and cleaning just general stuff out of a tank, not only being the frag tank or the main display, having one of those power washers that you just simply plug in and then connect your hose to whatever, you know, garden hose or whatever, and putting it on the most powerful little nozzle they have, it makes a world of a difference. It makes it a lot easier, and no looking back. Definitely not going to go back to scrubbing with brushes and vinegar this and vinegar that. I'm just going to power wash it because, well, it's well worth the price. So yeah, I guess if I can find a link, I'll put the one that I have. No promises on that. Most likely I'll forget, but either way, you can find that stuff on Amazon. All right, so with that said, let's go to move on to the back deck and get cleaning this rock structure. Okay, so here we are 24 hours later. The rock did sit out overnight in sub 30-degree weather, and I'm assuming that pretty much everything on the surface is probably dead at this point, but because I did have some issues with encrusting Montipora on here, multiple different species of encrusting Montipora, I'm going to go through with the chisel and just clean it up as much as I possibly can, just getting off all the skeletons that I can find and really scraping into that what looks to be dead encrusting Monty. Now, I don't remember exactly what kind it is. It was a frag that I got a while ago. It's a little green piece that I didn't really think anything about. I was like, oh, it looks kind of cool. Needless to say, it took over a quarter of this rock structure, killing off a ton of colonies during the process. So I really want to make sure that I get this coral, whatever it might be, it's a Montipora of some sort, off of the rock structure, or at least make sure it's as dead as it can possibly be before putting it back into 300 and, you know, having it come back and kind of have to do this again later on. So with that said, again, just kind of going through and chopping things up. Now, not only was I able to remove about 90% of the dead coral on this rock structure, I was also able to reshape it a little bit, get rid of some pieces that I didn't like. It's kind of one of those things that you figure out after the rock structure's in your tank, and you're like, all right, well, I really don't like the way that looks. And most of us can't do anything about it because we're not removing our rock structures and fixing them and putting them back in. At least not most of the time. I'm sure some of you guys are out there, you know, doing that often, but, you know, it is what it is, right? So not only was I able to kind of reshape the rock the way I wanted it to be, and just kind of looked a little bit better overall to me, but I was also able to go in here and kind of put more glue in spots where it wasn't as strong as it should be. I was able to get a little bit more into the acrylic rods. I was able to basically make the rock structure stronger than it's ever been, given that it's been in the tank for how many years now. So with that said, I was really kind of taking my time. I think it probably 2 or 3 hours worth of time out here just kind of chiseling. It was cold. It was like 30 degrees, as I mentioned before, the night before. So it was freezing outside. So I kind of did what I could, went back inside and just did that over a few hours and just really made the rock structure better than it was before. All right, so let's go to move on to the fun part, and that is power washing the rock structure. So a quick note, I did do this before and after when it came to chiseling and rebuilding the rock structure. So beforehand, I just wanted to get all the coral off that I could, especially this encrusting Montipora in the front, and then just kind of clean it up before getting in there and chiseling and kind of re-gluing everything. And of course, afterward, I wanted to make sure I got all the chunks out and made it nice and clean before putting it back in the 300. So pretty easy process here. The power washer I have is pretty crazy. This is, again, is the most powerful nozzle that comes with it, and you can see it just melts the Montipora in the front, and it does a great job. Now, you definitely want to wear glasses or goggles or something to protect your eyes during this process. Obvious reasons here, pieces of you know, detritus and coral and just crap flying in the air. I know the camera was covered at one point, kind of had to start the video over, but either way, make sure you're wearing eye protection. And yeah, it's really cold outside, so I ended up doing this again over quite a bit of time, just because it is so cold, and nothing like having water splashing around while you're trying to do that in sub 30-degree weather. But either way, guys, worked out pretty well. It's not difficult. I'm not going to keep going in on it. It's a power washer. It's power washing the rock. There's your video. Let's move on. Okay, so once I was done with the rock structure, it was time to move on to the power heads. As you can see, they're all pretty nasty. And usually I'll go ahead and let these soak in like a vinegar water solution and run for about 24 hours. And then I'll put them out in the kitchen and brush them with a brush from Home Depot and just kind of do that for about 45 minutes. Yeah, not doing that anymore. As I mentioned before, power washer is now the new go-to tool for me for just about anything that needs to be cleaned out of the 300. And yeah, so just put your foot on it, wear a nice pair of shoes. Don't do it barefooted. I've done that before. Listen, Darwinism right there, right now. So just don't do it with sandals or barefooted. Trust me, it doesn't work out. So yeah, so either way, you can go ahead and again wear eye protection because the power heads are going to shoot that stuff in your face. And yeah, it's a pretty simple process. So there's your advertisement for why you should get a power washer. All right, so our last clip here is putting the rock back into the 300 after another 24 hours of sitting outside. So it was a total time of about 48 hours in freezing cold weather and all the stuff that you guys saw previously in the video. So I'm pretty confident that the coral that is on that rock structure is completely dead, and I can put it back in the tank and go from there. Now, one thing I am going to mention is that I did not put the lighting back on this tank for at least a few more days. So again, if there was anything that was on there that needed light to survive to get going, it did not get it anytime soon. So with that said, that's about it. We're down to 3 rock structures. The next video, I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you guys a day 1 update of this tank after I get the lighting back on it, give you guys a quick look at it with the blue filter, and then we'll put the coral in the tank, and then I'll give you guys another update of about 2 or 3 weeks later and kind of see how the tank is doing. There's been a ton of changes, went through some crazy stuff over the last few weeks, and yeah, I'm interested and excited to show you guys. So with that said, if you want to support the channel, head over to FishOfHex.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.